We'll close out the weekend here at the Awning Company Super 1 British Karting Championships at Llandow with Senior X30. Josh Collins and Matt Davies on the front row. Scott Mackerel and Matt Hurst with Brett Ward and Ewan Wilson from Tom Croydon and Jack Partridge. It's not the biggest field, but there's definitely great quality throughout it. And there's going to be some cracking battles right from the off here. Can Matt Davies launch into the first corner? No, he can't. He's got a terrible getaway.
We're on board with Matthew Hurst at the back of the field. I'm going to steal the circuit commentator's quote about the Morris family at the back of the field. Henry Baudet came up with a classic, Jake. I'm stealing it. You've heard of the Swiss family Robinson. Well, in this one, we've got the Welsh family Morris at the back of the field, occupying the last three positions on the grid. Jack Partridge on the 74 there, Team Norasport. He was the Juniors 2KM Super 1 champion in 2012. And on the 21 car, Matt Davies, he was the Junior TKM champion just a year later, in third place in this one at the moment.
Yeah, there's some great talent in this field. Oops, it looks as though we're going to lose a place. Indeed we do. The 46, Brett Ward, championship leader coming into this weekend, of course. He goes through and takes a place off our cameraman. So that's a really interesting part of the battle. Brett Ward trying to move up places. It's almost as if we've got two separate races in this one category, haven't we? We've got the championship battle up front with the spectacular class field that we've got. And then we've got that Welsh family Morris deciding who's going to do the washing up when they get home.
Arguably the most important battle on the track.
Absolutely.
The Morris family battle.
That's more important than shotgun, I'll tell you that one. That's a bigger deal. Anyway, they come through the Dell once again and back onto the stretch towards Raymond's. We're on board looking at Ewan Wilson as we come down to Raymond's up the inside. Beautifully done. That was very, very well executed indeed. Or was it? No, he's managed to get it back again on the switchback and now lost another place to the 74 Jack Partridge.
Jack's back. Here comes Jack Partridge. He's obviously, as we said before, has won a Super 1 title before, as has that man. They've won the same title, in fact, as juniors. There is Matt Davies on the 21, the 16 just in behind, Scott Mackerel.
I can remember a very humble Jack Partridge in the Junior TKM paddock in 2012 thinking, I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen for me in the future. I then bumped into him in the Autosport show at 2013 in January thinking, well, this is a superstar in the waiting. He's got a long motor racing future in front of him. He was still scratching the surface. It's such a real shame that drivers like Jack Partridge and Matt Davies, who have already shown not just British class talent, world class talent in this paddock, because we do know from past experience there are many multiple champions in this paddock who have gone on to great things in motor racing. Okay, it's great we get to watch them in Senior X30, but we should be letting them loose on the world stage. The Indy 500s, the Le Mans 24 hours of this world. The world needs to know that these guys can hack it.
Well, I did say at Llandow Park, didn't I, that weekend, that there are 6 Formula 1 world champions in the paddock that weekend, and they're still here this weekend. It's just that they never got a chance to drive in Formula 1. Had they got the chance, had they got the right car, they wouldn't have only competed in Formula 1, they would have potentially won the Formula 1 world title, but they never had the budget, never got the opportunity, so they're now working as mechanics here at Super 1, and there are at least half a dozen of them, mechanics and team owners, who should have raced in Formula 1, never got the opportunity, because as we know, it's all about money these days. 46 there, Brett Ward, championship leader coming into the round, but he had that exclusion. We heard in that little interview I did with him in part 1 about the exclusion earlier in the day from the heat, and that will have cost him championship points, so he's just trying to garner as many points as he can now. He's in third place. Josh Collins out front here on the 12. Josh has dominated this weekend, Jake. He's won everything by an absolute country mile.
Can I add that name to the list of drivers who could potentially have won a Formula 1 World Championship if given the time, budget and energy? Because Josh Collins has got some superior speed, skill and guile. He is one of those drivers you can always depend upon to dominate a meeting if given the right equipment. And it's flawless domination. There doesn't seem to be a single weak spot when the sweet spot is there. He just has this amazing ability to control, non-demonstratively, just dominates everything about a meeting. He just marches over the competition, gets out the kart, looks back as if to say, well, what have you got?
Josh Collins still got a racing career going on, of course, Jake, so you never know what would happen. He might find a sponsor to move him forward into something later in his career. A lot of the mechanics here, as I say, have had their opportunity. It's been and gone. never got the money, or they spent all of their parents' money and they've ended up back as mechanics.
It's always the parents' money, isn't it? It's never their own. We're all playing the lottery, hoping for that £1 million budget. Anyway, out of McWhirters and through Lancaster Curve, we've still got this fantastic battle for third position going on here between Scott Mackerel and Brett Ward. Brett Ward trying to basically damage limitation his weekend, as it were, to move up into third position. But let's not forget, that's Scott Mackerel he's trying to get past. That's no lean feat if you're battling for the front end of a Senior X30 grid. Mackerel is one tough cookie, and he is not going to be easy to blitz past. Brett Ward's going to have to show some pretty special cojones to get past.
Yep, great action all the way down the field. This is the lead battle, if you like, for that third place spot. Mackerel and Ward, there's Partridge, that's Hurst on the 96. Back with that battle for third place. Scott Mackerel looking pretty good. Brett's been fast all weekend, as I say, got that exclusion in the earlier heat, unfortunately, and that will impact on his attempt to win the championship this year. It's not all over for him, he knows that. Fantastic shot as they come through the dell here, through the right-hander at Diggers. That is the race leader, and this is pretty much how he's been performing all weekend. Matt Davis in second place there, just not had any answer to the raw pace that Collins has got. Of course, we know he was the Welsh champion a few seasons ago, a title that he won here at Llandow. He's held here the Welsh Championships every season, and Collins won the championship here, so it is a track that he knows particularly well. He's got that kart set up sweetly, and nobody has had a response for the pace that Josh Collins has had during the entire meeting.
Well, in fourth position, Brett Ward, he might want to take a look over his shoulder, because it looks as though the Jack attack is back. Partridge is reeling these boys in very rapidly indeed, and he might have an opportunity here to climb the podium. It would, you might say, that Partridge has left the pear tree and is trying to fly his way to the finish line here. Partridge is having an absolute screamer of a meeting now. It's not had the full verve of Partridge, as the winning form has not really been with him, but in this televised final he seems to have found enough pace to match the championship leader here, Brett Ward. He's trying to get as many points as he possibly can. There might be a thorn in his side yet.
Yeah, Partridge was quick early on, seemed to lose some places, but he's right on it now. He's caught these two from a mile behind, hasn't he? He's got to go up the inside of Brett Ward sometimes too. You've got to think he's going to do the pair of these. Now coming out onto Diggers through the right-hander, down the hanger straight. This has got to be an opportunity for Partridge, surely. No, he's not close enough. That's Mackerel in front of Ward. Partridge in behind him.
Well, Brett Ward's in a really difficult position now, isn't he? Because he's there in fourth position. He's got Scott Mackerel just in front of him. He's got Jack Partridge just behind him. He needs to go on the attack now. He can't even consider what's going on behind him, despite the fact that Jack Partridge is breathing down his neck badly. He needs to find a way to get past Mackerel, and he needs to do it, well, 5 seconds ago. He really needs to be in third position to avoid Partridge getting one over on him. And the thing is, with Partridge now being so close, if he makes a move on Mackerel and gets it wrong, Partridge will be straight up the inside, and Brett Ward could lose a lot more than just third position. He could lose the chance to go for it. Down to Raymonds once again. Is he going to make the move? No, not yet on Scott Mackerel, because he can't just banzai at the inside and hope it sticks. He can't really go ugly of it. He's got to make it sweetly through. He's got to make a clean, smooth pass and know that Jack Partridge isn't going to go right with him. He's got to think about the championship here. He's got to be conservative.
There's a battle between the 11 car, Ewan Wilson. 77 was Tom Croydon. The 81, Richard Morris. Our first look at the Morris family. You've not seen the Morris sisters yet, but they're not doing too bad actually, Jake. We've not seen them, to be fair, but they're running in and around the top 10.
Yes, Anna and Eleanor having a good weekend by all rights. They're not doing too badly at all, and there's plenty of pace where that came from. They should just develop and develop over the course of the season. Mackerel is just urging himself on there. There was a little bit of a nod as he got himself down the straight there. Come on, come on, come on. I can get away from these boys. Third position is mine. I'm not going to give it up. And this is where Brett Ward is going to turn up the wick now. I need this third position because I've got Jack Partridge sitting right on my trumpet, and he's going to go for it at the first possible opportunity. And the man sitting in sixth position, actually, Matt Hurst, he needs to stay close to this, because if it gets messy, there's a podium in the offing for him. But look at Josh Collins. He is the length. That is amazing. He is the length of the Spitfire straight. in front of Matt
He's
Davies.
through. Partridge is through, out of the shot of the cameras. Partridge has made his way past Brett Ward. There he is.
That's exactly what I thought might happen.
He was getting frustrated. Ward looking down the inside. Has he got the pace? No, he has to dip it behind.
No, you don't, Sunshine. Jack Partridge has got himself in the 4th position. You were too slow. You took too long to get past him. So I'll have you, and then I'll have him. That's what Jack Partridge is screaming to him as he drives past. That will be such a satisfying moment. The question is now, has he got enough time to get right back on the tail of Mackerel and make the same move?
Richard Morris has lost the back of the 2 drivers in front. There's Richard, again not seeing his sisters, unfortunately. Just not managing to pick them up. That is Mackerel.
Oh, look at how quickly Partridge is getting on terms with him. He's just finding so much more pace through the slower corners. This is where Partridge is really maximising his setup here. He's made up so much time in this last lap. He's got an opportunity to move into 3rd position now. He won't do it here. He's just going to keep on making up ground. The next lap should be the one he'll go for the move. But Matthew Hurst, look out, boys. He's catching them all.
Yeah, Hurst getting much closer with these battling. Now Mackerel is definitely holding up Jack Partridge there on the 74. You can see the frustration from Partridge. He's going to go up the inside as soon as he can. Now I think he needs to set him up for the hairpin at Raymond's, to be fair. We don't often see a lot of overtaking around this part of the circuit. You can see people overtaking, but not often. And now,
defensive.
Yeah, Mackerel looking defensive there. He's just had a quick look over his shoulder, went to the right-hand side to try and cover off Partridge. He's having another look. We're into the last lap. He knows he's into the business end. That's Davis. Partridge, will he look down the inside?
Not yet.
No, it's still Mackerel.
Oh, he's
Partridge
wide.
has got him on the exit.
Jack Partridge is through to 3rd position. Good things come to those who wait. He's into 3rd position. Mackerel is now in the clutches of Brett Ward, and he is in major pressure because that's the championship leader who's been desperate to get into the top 4 all race. He'll be on Mackerel like a bad habit. But look at Josh Collins, an absolute century in front of the rest of the field here. The Alonso kart has been absolutely tuned to perfection as he comes down the hanger straight for the last time into Raymond's. He looks around. Well, this is a nice little drive in the countryside we're having, and he comes through the final turn. That is the definition, folks, of obliteration. Absolutely amazing. And this battle for 3rd, 4th position still going on here. Brett Ward up the inside of Mackerel. Has he got him? Yes! Just! Talk about the sweetest moment in history for Ward. He really nailed it at the last possible moment. Collins gets the win from Davies, Partridge, Ward, Mackerel and Hurst, with Davy Shepherd in front of Eleanor and Anna, Ewan Wilson in 10th.
Talk us through your race. It might have looked easy from the outset, leading from start to finish. I'm sure it wasn't, but what about the relief coming across the line?
Yeah, big relief. Just glad I made it to the end. Like to thank Dan Holland, John Crooks for the engines, and my mechanic Ben, and my family.
Well, that's it from the meeting. Senior X30 points look like this, with Davies now ahead of Mackerel, Collins, Ward and Wilson as the paddock moves to Butmore Park. We'll be back in action the meeting after that as Super 1 makes a welcome return to Fulbeck in Lincolnshire. We'll see you then.